Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt, reporting for the Sin Bin. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know that this is somewhat old news, given that they already established the captain long time ago, but just watching a few of the games without John Tavares, because he's currently out with an injury, it just solidified this feeling in my head. And that feeling is the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto Maple Leafs management, they did a great job in choosing their captain. They chose John Tavares, most notably above Auston Matthews. I know there's technically other players, whether it be Marner, whether it be Morgan Rielly, but the media, they kind of made it into a Auston Matthews versus John Tavares thing. So in this video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to justify why the Toronto Maple Leafs did it and why I agree with it. Now, I'm a Canadiens fan, so take everything you hear with a grain of salt, but in a way, it could mean that I'm not biased because I don't have any stock into Auston Matthews or John Tavares. They're kind of neutral with me, and that kind of leads me to my next point. Deciding who's a better captain, that's different than saying who's a better player, because I actually think that Auston Matthews is a better player, whether it be his speed, whether it be his shot. I think that Auston Matthews is the full package. That being said, when it comes to captaincy, it's a completely different story. I actually think that John Tavares is a better captain, and there's 3 reasons why I think he's a better captain and why they decided to make it John Tavares instead of Auston Matthews, and we're going to go through them. But first, in case you guys didn't know, us in Canada, we actually had an election, so I just wanted to extend my congratulations to Justin Trudeau, Canada's first black prime minister, on winning the elections. Congratulations, Justin. We're all really happy. Now, let's move on to hockey. So, 3 main reasons why I think that John Tavares was the first choice. Now, let's go into the first one, and this may be a little minimal, but let's see here. The age. The age was a factor in determining who the captain was, because I'll give you a little analogy here. As I mentioned, I'm a Canadiens fan. So they didn't have a captaincy for a short period after they traded Max Pacioretty. Now, in my heart, in my mind, I think that Brendan Gallagher is the team's captain. I think that when it comes to the locker room, no one fires the teammates up like Brendan. When it comes to the ice, no one works harder than Brendan. Not only on the Canadiens, but I think in the whole entire National Hockey League, I don't think anyone works as hard as Brendan Gallagher. When it's all said and done, for me, Brendan Gallagher was the team's captain. So I was somewhat shocked when they decided to give it to Shea Weber instead. Now, why did they give it to Shea Weber? I think that one of the main reasons was age. Shea Weber is notably older than Brendan Gallagher. Shea Weber, he's around, 32, 33. Brendan is around 26, 27, 28. So there's a little bit of an age difference. It's not a big factor, but I think it was noteworthy because just put yourself in the skin of these guys. Imagine you've been in the league longer than a certain guy. You've been busting your ass longer than a certain guy, and that guy ends up getting the captaincy over you. Maybe you're the type of person who just doesn't care. That could happen, but there are some people out there, they could get a little bit pissed off. And given that John Tavares is quite a little bit older than Auston Matthews, I think that experience that comes with the age and the fact that he played more games, that played a little bit of a factor when determining the captaincy, and that's why the Toronto Maple Leafs decided to give it to John Tavares. Now, that being said, I don't think this factor is as big as the 2 other factors that I'm about to talk about. The next one being the Underpants situation. Now, I know that it was all kind of a joke. For those of you who don't know somehow, but that's okay. If you don't know, Auston Matthews, he was back in Arizona one day during the offseason. He was obviously very drunk. He decided to go to this lady and start yelling things at her. He ended up taking his pants down and showing his underwear to her, and that sparked a lot of memes such as this one. This is the NHL 20 cover with Auston Matthews and his underwear. So it was a pretty big controversy. Now, how does that play into the captaincy thing? Well, I think that the main issue here, apart from the whole controversy itself, the main issue is the fact that Auston Matthews didn't tell the management, most notably Kyle Dubas, about this whole situation. In an interview, Kyle Dubas said that he ended up learning about the situation on Twitter. That's exactly how I learned about it. So that obviously really put a bad taste in Kyle Dubas's mouth. On top of that, that was near the time where they were about to declare the captain. I think they wanted to get it done pretty much at the beginning of the season, and that coincided when the news of Auston Matthews came out. So how are you going to give the captaincy to someone that this big controversy just happened? It's just going to spark a lot of things happening in the news and a lot of unwanted attention. I think that in an effort to avoid all of that, they just decided to give it to John Tavares. Now, John Tavares, say what you want about him, like him or hate him, he's not going to spark any controversy. He's a really quiet guy. He seems like a really polite guy too. So I don't envision John Tavares doing something like that. So they didn't have to worry about it. They can give the captaincy to John Tavares, and he's going to lead. He's not going to get into any trouble. We know that. Now, the next topic, and probably the biggest one, that's free agency, number 3. So where does free agency play into all of this? You got to really think about it. So Auston Matthews' contract, it prolongs into the 2023-2024 season. If my quick math served me right, I might be wrong there. The John Tavares contract, I know it extends 1 year later, be it the 2024-2025 season. So the main reason I bring this up is because when all is said and done, I truly believe that after Matthews' contract is over and he hits the free agent market, which I kind of think he will do, I think that there's a team somewhere out there. It might be Arizona. It might be, some team with a lot of cap space. They're going to be offering Auston Matthews more money than what the Toronto Maple Leafs can give to him. On top of that, add all of the taxes and all of that thing that we hear in Toronto, the low value of the Canadian dollar. I mean, these players, in the end of the day, they're looking for money. And if there's a team that's willing to give more than the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think that Auston Matthews is going to bite on it. Now, also give the fact that he's an Arizona boy. He's from Arizona. He grew up watching the Coyotes. He said his biggest hero was Shane Doan, captain of the Arizona Coyotes. So I think, in my opinion, there's a really strong possibility he might pull a Zach Parise and go back to his hometown after his initial contract is over. So this is kind of different than John Tavares, and this is why I bring it up. John Tavares, he already hit the free agent market. He already went to his favorite team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. We saw it, the thing with the whole pajamas and the whole thing there. His favorite team is the Toronto Maple Leafs. We know that he wants to be there. We know that he wants to be with the Leafs. We know that when his contract is over in 2024, 2025, he's going to be looking to stay with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's going to be taking a pay cut to stay with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I can say that with certainty. With Auston Matthews, on the other hand, I can't say with certainty that he's going to take a pay cut. I can't say with certainty that he's going to want to stay in Toronto. That's a tongue twister. So, because of all of those factors, how are you going to give your captaincy to someone that it's not certain he's going to stay with them? And I know it's not certain with Johnny T either, but I think there's a stronger possibility that he stays with Toronto because he's shown willingness in the past that this is his team. He wants to win with them. And I hate to say it, this whole stretch of him being injured, they haven't been looking the same, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know that there's so many other stars on that team that can step up to the plate, the Matthews, the Nylander, the Marners, but without John Tavares, just watching that game against Columbus and later on against Boston, they don't look the same. I mean, I truly think this guy's important, and he shouldn't be. I mean, he's a really great player, but when you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, and if they want to win in the future, if they want to make a legit playoff run, Auston Matthews has to be their best player. Auston Matthews has to be their star. But I'm kind of getting off track here. I just wanted to make this video to show why I think the Toronto Maple Leafs decided to name John Tavares the captain instead of Auston Matthews. It's why I think they did it, and I gotta say, I pretty much agree with all of these viewpoints. So if you don't agree, please let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, I'm not saying that Auston Matthews is not as good a player as John Tavares because I actually think he's a better player. I'm just saying when it comes to leadership, which is different from on-ice play, for the most part, I think that John Tavares was the best choice. Also give the fact, and I forgot to mention this, that he's already been a captain on another team. He's already been a captain in this league, so he has that experience. Auston Matthews doesn't quite have that experience, but it could be a place to build on here. He's going to get an A. an alternate captain, he can build on that, and maybe in the future, whether it be with the Toronto Maple Leafs or not, maybe he's going to get that C one day. But if he gets the C, I think we can all agree that, dude, you need to shave that mustache. I know it's a tired joke, but I just had to throw it out there. So I hope you guys appreciate this video. Again, please feel free to comment below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate all of the support lately. More videos to come in the future. And remember, my name is Matt. Keep your stick on the ice.